Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the new Pharah, because this is utterly ridiculous. So check this out. These are the changes that are on the PTR right now. It changes Pharah and turns it into a completely new hero, in my opinion. So concussive blast, cooldown reduced from 12 to 9 seconds. So you can fire it faster. Well, you've got it more often, basically. Rocket launcher, attack speed increased. Lowered recovery time between shots from 0.9 to 0.75. Damage redistributed between explosion and impact. Explosion damage reduced from 80 to 65. Impact damage reduced from 40 to 55. Explosion knockback reduced by 20%. Self knockback range increased by 25%. Alright then, what does this mean? Well, let's just check out the developer comments, and then we'll talk about what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, because this is ridiculous. So the devs' comments on this, and you can see this happening like in the footage in the background here as we're on Anubis defense on the first point. It's crazy. So this is what the devs say. We wanted to increase how responsive Pharah's rocket launcher felt. Having almost a full second of recovery time between shots made it feel sluggish. To balance out the improved recovery time, we shifted some of the damage from the rocket's explosion to the direct impact damage. The overall damage potential is now increased when landing direct hits and decreased slightly when dealing explosive damage. We reduced the amount of knockback each explosion causes, as they made it very difficult to aim at Pharah while rockets come at a faster pace. The concussive blast cooldown reduction should allow the ability to sync up more closely with the jump jet cooldowns when used for mobility. Alright, okay. So the thing you've got to realise here is this is a complete skill pass on Pharah to make her more difficult to play. And you know what that means, don't you, ladies and gentlemen? She will not be as good as she currently is on console. She is worse on console. This is, in essence, a PC, can I say buff to Pharah? Because I think if you're good with predicting Pharah directs, you are just going to destroy people with this hero. You can see how fast my rockets are flying in here. It's crazed, right? They're coming in super fast. We're pumping rockets out. You're going to do a lot of damage if you hit people directly. Now, you know the way Overwatch is designed, don't you guys? Everybody does. There's choke points. What does that mean? You can spam choke points. You can do a lot of damage. I think I'd die here to Soldier because I'm an idiot. I would have died anyway. I didn't get the health and I just died. Also, if my aim's bad, it's because this is recorded from a hotel room, which is not ideal, but whatever. And also, I can use that excuse every time I go anywhere to just cover up how bad I actually am. Ladies and gentlemen, boosted YouTuber. Oh dear, oh dear. All right, so yeah. The big thing we've got here with Pharah is she's more responsive. She does more direct damage, she does less splash damage, you can get into fights faster, with the concussion blast being on a shorter cooldown. You can also travel further with the concussion blast. Now you can still do the same old Pharah stuff, rocket jump in the air, so fire your rocket into the floor as you jump, then use your jump jets to get higher into the air. You can still do all of this stuff. She just feels much more fluid, she feels better to play. I'm not a Pharah main. Like, we'd have to speak to Pharah mains, and what I'd like to do is speak to some potential top tier Pharahs. Maybe we can get some pro Pharahs and have a chat with those guys and see what happens, you know, what their thoughts are on this. But I think this is straight up a Quakeification. That's a word I've invented, ladies and gentlemen. That means that Blizzard, we know that they like Quake. We know that, like, Pharah is basically a Quake hero because she just got the rocket launch from Quake. Well, from Quake Arena, Quake 3. It's Quake Champions now, isn't it? But I think it's Quake 3 that the rocket launcher was popular in. Anyway, that's what she's basically got now. She fires much faster. The projectiles are quicker because she's firing them out more often. The direct damage is better. So if you land the directs, you will kill people. The reason why I decided to use the Temple of Anubis footage first is because, like I said earlier on, or I touched on it a little bit, is because of the map design nature of Overwatch. If it's choke points, this hero is super, super good now. She was good before. She still would charge ultimate really fast, right? Because a lot of splash damage is coming in. But she's not eliminating people. This is what I want you guys to realise. This is why I think this is a massive change, actually. She will now kill people more often in choke points with direct hits. You know where people are coming from. You see, I know they're going to come through there, so I'm firing rockets in. I get a couple of hits. I'm going to start killing people. I'm going to start deleting them. That is huge. I mean, look at Torb. 2 shots and he's down. Smashed in the face, he's dead. This is really potentially huge. Now, I'd like to look forward to potential Pharah duels, especially with Overwatch League and potentially with the Overwatch World Cup, the finals in BlizzCon. We'd expect to be seeing the hero changes out by then. This is going to be really interesting to watch. I mean, Pharah duels are interesting to watch anyway. Normally, it'll be a pharmacy combo if any pro teams run Pharah. So you'll see them floating up in the air. It's kind of a slow dance in the air. It's still very skillful. Still extremely difficult to predict where the Pharah is going, the enemy Pharah that is, to try and get those direct hits. Now, the direct hits are going to come faster. The enemy Pharah, if she gets the advantage on you in that duel, she's going to kill you, then she's going to kill your Pharah, and it's going to feel amazing. It's also, I think, going to feel amazing for the person getting killed because it's going to feel super high risk, almost like a Widowmaker duel. It's like you make one mistake, you're going to die. So let's talk about Mercy, because if you're a Mercy main, times are a little bit rough for you right now. You're not totally useless. You're actually still a good hero, but you're not the instant pick. You need it on every team, every time, all of the time. That's not great, right? Having a hero that's that prevalent just isn't great. The recent support changes were designed to change that. That's great English style. Change that, whatever. But it allowed the use of other supports. But I think this buff to Pharah, because that's what I'm going to call this, is the buff to Pharah. It's kind of like a sideways buff. It's a change up to playstyle that sorts out the problems on console potentially of Pharah just killing everybody. Because remember, there's less knockback, right? Let me just touch on that for a second, actually. So there's less knockback when you get hit with a rocket. Now, as we know in the dev update comments, the reason for that is the rockets are coming in faster now. So if you get hit with a rocket again, you're splashed all over the place and you don't actually have a chance, or you're knocked back all over the place to sort of reply to the Pharah, so it's more difficult to hit the Pharah. So what they've done is reduced the effect of the direct hit knockback. So this means when you do get hit by a Pharah, if you're a McCree, if you're a soldier, you now have a chance to aim at the Pharah and keep doing damage. Because normally what happens is you're aiming at the Pharah anyway. She starts firing at you, you're getting knocked back, your aim goes all crazy, and then she kills you, and it doesn't really feel good. Now though, you're aiming at the Pharah, the rocket's coming in, but you're still doing damage to the Pharah. And remember, soldier has got a pretty hefty minor buff. Can I call it that? I think I can. Instead of doing 6 shots before he loses his accuracy or the spray starts to kick in, he now does 9. That's an extra 3 shots. Now, when firing at a Pharah, that's actually really huge. So Pharah, even though she's been changed here to make her more skill-based, more reactive, more fluid, more flowing, now she's got to deal with a super soldier on the battlefield, a McCree that can roll a bit faster. But I think, ladies and gentlemen, the main problem for her is old Torb. We'll see this in the second clip I've got. But Torb, his turret, it catches you out by guard. Off guard a hell of a lot. Like, you don't expect it to be in the situation it gets in, and it really starts to punish you. So, before we go on to the next clip, let's just talk about the Mercy thing, which I kind of touched on, but I need to sort of wrap that up. If you're a Mercy main, you probably do want to pick up a Pharah now and just duo on the ladder if this goes live, because she's going to do so much damage. She's going to do increased direct damage with your damage boost on her, which means people are going to get deleted in chokes. You can argue that already on live, Pharah does delete people in chokes, especially when she's got the damage boost. Now she just does straight up more damage herself anyway on direct hits, and she's going to do even more when she's got the damage boost with Mercy. So I think this is going to actually be pretty huge. Now again, remember, all of this stuff it's just on PTR. So, you know, PTR doesn't have very good matchmaking. Teams are all over the place. You often get like a really good player on a team, really bad players. Team comps are terrible. Everybody's trying to use the next greatest hero. In this case, it's Torbjorn. Like, everybody's trying to get Torb. So it's not an ideal testing environment. But what it lets us do is speculate on the way we can kind of see this going. It lets us kick up discussions. It lets us talk together and think, hey, is this actually good for the game? Is this bad for the game? We won't really know until we get it into competitive. Then we'll be able to see, is Torb crazy OP? Is this Pharah ridiculous? All I can say right now is I am enjoying this Pharah more than I enjoy the current Pharah, because it feels like I'm playing Quake. It feels like I'm in some sort of crazy deathmatch. It's more responsive. We look at a lot of changes recently that have come through to heroes. Hell, look at the rework to Torb and even Symmetra. It's to make them more engaging to play, so there's a better gameplay flow to them. They feel more responsive. They feel better to play. That's a huge win. This feels like that. This really, really does. I think on the other side of the argument, Pharah players who are used to using Pharah, now with her increased rocket speed, well, not speed, but the increased it's a decreased cooldown, I guess, isn't it, between rockets being fired, it might be a little off-putting to your rhythm. Like, if you were used to the old Pharah rhythm, this is going to be difficult to get used to, but I don't think it's going to take you too long to adapt. Alright, let's take a look here on Volskaya. So I'm on defense here on Volskaya, and I'm fairly sure I get screwed over by a Torb quite a few times. And you will notice some of the weaknesses here of this. So I'm firing at the Tracer. A few times there, I probably would have hit the Tracer and killed her, right? That Anna I just killed, she would have died anyway because she had so little health. You could see by the 13 elimination that I got there. She would have died anyway. Old Pharah would have killed her, new Pharah killed her, whatever. It wouldn't have mattered. Increased direct damage doesn't make any difference in that scenario. But the Tracer that was dancing around on the point, possibly old Pharah would have killed that. New Pharah doesn't. So you need to be more accurate. This is the trade-off. Yes, you're firing rockets in more frequently, but you need to land the hits. If you don't, you're going to just do nothing, or much less than you did before. So the big question I've got with this is, will she be able to charge her ultimate as fast as she currently can? So is this an ultimate nerf damage to Pharah? Because before, you're firing you're getting a lot of splash damage. This is all adding to your ultimate meter. You're not killing people as often as this Pharah would kill people. Also, that was a nice nade with direct hits. But you're getting more ultimate charge. And we all know with Overwatch, ultimates win games, don't they? It's a good one, isn't it? Like, we don't really know where that's going to go. Again, it's going to take more testing. So, as I'm moving back to the point here, you'll notice again the fact that I've got decreased cooldown on concussive blast. It's gone down from 12 to 9 seconds. The fact that south knockback range has been increased by 25%. This all means that you can jump forward quicker. You can get back to the fight quicker. And watch the Torb turret absolutely wreck me. Look at this. This Torb turret, it's not wrecking me in this instance. I'm pretty sure it does later on in this game. But it's enough to make you think again. So even though Pharah's got these changes, they're almost coming through with 3 counters to Pharah being buffed, which is really crazy. The one thing I do need to say, and I kind of did say this a little bit earlier on, but I guess I need to say it again, is this could potentially be a really super clever change to the hero, especially with consoles, because if this reduces her domination on consoles, that's going to be ridiculous, especially coupled with Torb. Torb might be ridiculously OP on consoles because his turret still is quite powerful on console, but the fact that it, you can just throw it into really awkward positions now, it is a pretty, that's going to be interesting to watch that play out. So let's just go into look at what I'm doing here actually in terms of holding this point and just trying to spam damage. You can see I took quite a lot of damage there. I think Torb himself actually got me along with the turret. I'm getting healed up. I think this is where Torb kills me. I'm sure this is where I get killed by his turret. I'm just spamming the choke. This is what you'd be expected to do with a Pharah. Spam the choke. Tracer's harassing me from behind. She would have been dead. That there would have been an instance where Tracer's dead. But look what's happened. I died instead. But I would have killed Tracer on live with splash damage there from the rocket because she had literally 1 HP. Yet my rockets don't have enough damage from splash, or in fact the radius is just not there to actually get the kill. Which is huge, right? That's absolutely huge. And as you can see, I'm totally failing to get back to the point. I'm sure I get killed by the Torb. We'll wait until we get killed by the Torb, then I'll end the video on that dramatic point, because I'm sure that's where we get... I'm sure I get killed now. I try to do something stupid, like go over the top, and Torb just obliterates me. No, I think I ult here. No, I ult. Maybe I'm off my head. I'm sure Torb destroyed me at one point. No, I just sort of killed everybody. Whatever, I'll take that, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, let's end the video at that. What do you guys think about this? Pharah is... This is potentially game-changing for Pharah players, but also other players as well. I think this is probably the biggest change, obviously apart from Torb, but this is probably the biggest change in this PTR patch. I mean, it could arguably be a bigger change than Torb, just because if you're super good with accuracy, you're going to do loads of damage. Yeah, I must have been off my face with the Torb. It's probably another game. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Salosa. This is Unit Loss. If you enjoyed the video, then like the video. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLossGaming, and I'll catch you lovely lot on the next one. Oh, I got to play the game. Woohoo! Toodaloo. It was the barrage, right? Yeah. High skill. We don't need to see this again. Catch you on the next one, guys. Toodaloo.